Yo, you here right now with your boy Seahow. I tried to do a video the other day about this thought, and I couldn't quite get all of my thoughts together. So I took a little bit of time to sit back, relax, and then, I wanted to bring it back the right way. So what I wanted to talk about was being true to thyself. Being true to yourself. I feel like how society is set up and how a lot of people are living right now is counterproductive, counterintuitive. It's not of thine own self. I'm not telling you to go out and live like a hermit and, give away all your worldly progression or possessions. But what I am talking about and advocating for in this one is being true to yourself. When I was younger, and even as an older adult, I had moments in life where I wanted like material possessions. Material possessions, cars, jewelry, things. And the things that I wanted were pretty much just an indicator to whoever was around me that I have somewhat been successful. I have created somewhat of a success in my life. And through that success, I'm showing you through material things. I have a Rolex, I have gold, whatever. Not so much on the cars. I did have a car where it was a showpiece more than it was just a transportation piece. But what I am saying is being true to yourself. Happiness is based upon you. A lot of different things make a lot of different people happy. Some people would be happy going to the club, getting bottles, popping off all weekend, handling business on Monday, going back to work. It's a lifestyle, but that's your happiness. What I'm more talking about is a happiness that is based on you, how you really feel, how you really navigate this earth. I put a meme or a picture on my Facebook earlier today, and it was like, this is true wealth. And it was just a guy walking into what is presumed to be his home with his spouse, 2 children running up to him, greeting him as he came home from what looked to be like the work day. Happiness, wealth. To me, through the journeys in life that I've went through, that right there is a reflection of true happiness and wealth. I went through the periods in time where I wanted rims on a car, speakers, jewelry. My boys would hit me up on a work day. I remember vividly, Wednesday morning before work, before I even got up to go to the gym, my boy David Uribe, one of my best homies, like family. This dude hit me up at like 5:45, maybe 6 a.m. in the morning, and was like, yo, tonight it's ladies' night at Lodge Bar. Lodge Bar was this club that was probably like quarter of a mile from my apartments. I used to live at Arena Crossings at that time. Any of the old school dudes that are familiar with the Short North area, they know Typhoon, Lodge Bar, Brothers, all of that right there in that area. But anyway, my apartment was right there at Arena Crossings facing Brothers. My boy hit me up before we even went to the gym and was like, yo, tonight, Lodge Bar, ladies' night, Wednesday night. At that point in time, that was happiness. That was what we were seeking for, happiness, and that was what we associated happiness with. Girls, hollering at chicks, closing the deal for that night. Boom, that was happiness. Now that I've gotten older and my palate is a little bit more refined in regards to happiness, my happiness is not based on short-term things. My happiness is more so associated with real things that are more real to me, and things that are just a bit more like, quality. Going out, hanging out with your boys, closing deals, getting girls, all of that stuff. If you're in your 20s, that's fine. That's, it's a part of the process. But as you get older, if you really want to be true to yourself and you really want to live a life of happiness, it's not going to be based on those short-term things. Going out, getting girls, getting drunk with your boys, smoking a little bit of weed, having a good night. Yeah, that's fun. But that's not going to add to the quality of your life. That's a temporary fix. It's an artificial sweetener. It's not really what makes you happy. And I'm not one to sit back and tell you what will make you happy in your life, because everybody is on a different journey. But the people that I know, the people that fuck with me and that are on the same path that I'm on, kids, I even get a kick out of doing yard work. Like I just power washed the sidewalk in the driveway the other day. I was out there for like 2.5 hours doing that. Felt great. Cleaned out the garage, mowing the lawn, getting up with my kids consistently in the morning, even though I've been slacking on that and their mom's been doing overtime in the mornings. But just being a parent, talking to your kids, dealing with your kids, trying to figure out things that will work in regards to your kids, their daily function, how they're eating, how their mode of operation in daycare. These are the things that make me happy now. And granted, I'm older. I have been a young buck. I've been in my 20s, in my 30s. Now I'm 40, about to be 44 in less than 7 days. The quality of my life has changed because of the things that I seek in regards to pleasure, happiness. They're different. As you get older, as a man, you have to behave and operate as a man. You have to do a little bit more self-analysis and see what makes you happy. Because for the longest time, I operated under a certain set of guidelines, but I didn't really take the time to think about when those guidelines originated, how they, what purpose they have in my life now, and where I'm at now. What made me happy 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago is not necessarily going to make me happy now. When I was younger, I worked at Residential Finance Mortgage Company down on Front Street. And I worked with a bunch of killers. If anybody ever wants to know where I got my ego or any of that stuff, this is where I got it. So I worked at a mortgage company, and I would bring home And I was like 25, 26 years old. And depending on what I closed that month, I could get a check after taxes for anywhere from 5,000. I think the biggest check I ever brought home, and this was every 2 weeks. The biggest check I probably ever brought home from them after taxes was like $31,000. As a young black dude coming from where I come from, getting those type of results, you couldn't tell me shit. Like, that was my happiness. That was my resolve. Like, I'm getting, in 1 month, I'm getting bigger checks than, you know, my mom used to bring home. Some of my friends, like, I would never tell them, you know, this month I made $45,000. Like, but that was my reality. And that's what made me happy. But now that I'm older, my happiness is not based so much on a monetary value. It's based more on how I feel about myself. I have 2 boys now. The time that I get to spend with them is already limited because I have to work, mom has to work, and then we send them to daycare. We only send them to daycare 3 days out of the week, but still, my time is limited. So what makes me happy now is not a fat paycheck every month. I mean, yeah, obviously, because I'm a man and that's what I'm accustomed to, and that's what my girl is used to me providing. I'm obviously going to still chase that, but even if I get that, I might not be happy, because if I can't come home and hang out with my kids for a couple hours in the evening or the afternoon after they've been at daycare all day, you know, if I don't get that time with them, today wasn't necessarily like a great day. I mean, it might have been monetarily, but what matters to me now is different. My kid waking up in the morning, walking up, getting my kid out of the bed, seeing him go from being grumpy because he just got woke up to like transitioning. Now we're feeding him and he's happy and he's about to go to daycare. These are the things that make me happy. And like I said, everybody's happiness is different for them. But what I'm trying to drive home is, don't feed into social media's sense of happiness, sense of wealth, sense of you. You are who you are. What makes you happy is different than what makes everybody else happy. And you don't need validation from anybody. If you like to go home and build Legos or stick figures, you like to go home and build buildings, do what makes you happy. Be true to yourself. Don't be so caught up in artificial sweeteners, going with the flow. America and a lot of people that I know right now, and I hate to say America because I just don't want to make this a political thing, but too many people have gone with the flow. And look at where we are now. We need to be a little bit more selfish in regards to our happiness and who we are. I feel like if we are a little bit more selfish and we're a little bit more real, we'll have better outcomes. Everybody's happiness is not based in a monetary value. We don't need a bunch of millionaires. We don't need a bunch of billionaires. We need a lot more doctors, veterinarians, EMT, first responders, lawyers. We need a lot more things than what society is putting value on. And I'll say this specifically for black kids. We don't need any more rappers. We don't. We don't need any more rappers. We don't need any more goons. We have enough of that. If we as a race were as competitive about being doctors and lawyers and putting money into our neighborhoods and being developers, if we were as competitive in that field as we were into being the biggest hustler, the biggest dealer, the biggest rapper in our neighborhood, us as a whole would be in a way better space. We need to fall back from what we're being told is our happiness, and we need to really turn the music off, turn the TV off, shut the lights off, and get into a quiet space and listen to ourselves. Listen to your mind, listen to your thoughts, get in touch with yourself and see what is your truth. And once you realize that truth, what makes you happy? Me personally, my truth, what makes me happy? I'm pretty plain Jane. Like, I'm 43 and I've done a lot. I've done a lot in my 43 years around this rock. What do you buy the guy that has it all? Nothing. I don't think I need anything. I don't think that I'm in search of anything. I think that I have prayed for my reality now. And being true to that, I need to appreciate where I'm at, what I've done to get here. And that's that. I don't need to think competitively about who has what or where else I could be or other things that I could be doing. I've prayed for my reality and now it's here. And now I need to appreciate God, the universe, the powers that be for giving me this existence. And I think that if a lot more people followed that, or even just took the time to think about it, you would realize, like, your complaints are like first world problems. Like, you're in a great spot. I'm going to finish this with this really quick little story. So, me and wifey, before we had kids, we used to travel around the world. We were in Thailand, and I think it was like maybe we were probably about to leave and head home. We probably had like another day or two left. And we were in Thailand, and we were in a tuk-tuk, whatever you want to call them, the little tricycle with the thing in the back. And we were rolling up on this spot. I had some suits made, and we were leaving this little, in Spanish it would be called a favela. I don't know what they would call it in Thailand, but I had got a couple suitcases so we could get our stuff, travel, take it home, whatever. And as we had already bought the suitcases from this little swap meet type situation, and we were going to the suit shop, and there was this dude in the street. There was like a puddle of water, and he had what looked like a t-shirt or a rag or whatever, and he took it, put it in the water, and this dude was like bathing himself in that street water. And I looked at that and I saw it, and something just like clicked. Because at the time I had this little apartment. down in the short north. It's probably like 300 square feet. And I saw this dude like bathing in a puddle on the street. And I just like thought about that. Like, that's a paradigm shift. All the shit that I bitch about when I'm back in the States, when I'm back in Ohio, this dude is literally washing himself in a puddle of dirt on some street in Thailand. If you can't understand that in regards to happiness, like, then you'll never get it. Happiness isn't based on like any of the bullshit that we've been taught to think or believe. Happiness is based on whatever makes you feel that very specific way in your chest, in your heart. True friends, eating a meal with loved ones, having someone that loves you and cares about you, children, a purpose. These are things that are true to self and that produce happiness. Monetary stuff, gold chains, holding a stack of money to your ear, you know, beefing with your ops. All of that stuff is like artificial sweeteners. We've been told a lie and we follow it. We fall right in line. None of that stuff is going to make you happy. If you really want to be happy, close your mouth, open your eyes and your ears, and listen to yourself. Be your best friend, advocate for yourself, and don't be told what your truth is, what your happiness is. Nobody else out here can define what makes you you, what makes you happy, what is your truth. Nobody knows what you have been through. Nobody knows who you are. So with that in mind, don't look to anybody else for answers in regards to what makes you happy, what makes you complete. That answer is not outside, it's inside, and it's in you. So, wrapping it all up, bringing it all in, happiness is elusive. But if you are true to yourself and you understand yourself and you are real with yourself, it will be easier to find your happiness. But your happiness is buried under your truth. So take the time, put the energy, put the effort into yourself. Be your own best friend. Talk to yourself nicely. Listen to yourself. Create your happiness. Understand your truth. It's your boy Seahow. We here and now. And oh no, I think that's it. I'm just gonna leave it on that. And I hope everybody got out of that what they needed. And with that, I'm out.